It is Wednesday, June 27th. Um, this is the combined forces of everyone, including Empowered Elite Aspire Nation, and every team in our downline is going to be teaming up for these Wednesday night calls. And I think it has a lot to do with the energy we felt at Summit as a team, and it was awesome. And we're going to talk all about that. So many of us on this call are coming off of such a freaking awesome Summit experience. Honestly, it was such a great weekend. Kind of a new shift in what we're talking about as business owners, and we all are going to be taking away, or we all took away, probably some of the same things, but also totally different pieces, because live events to me are so important, because you're going to hear, even if it's just a sentence that somebody says, that sticks with you throughout your entire business and can like transform your entire business, just because you were here in that conference to hear them say that one thing that drives your business. For me, one example, Julie Boris spoke at one of our events in Boston, and at one point she said something like, it took me 7 years to become 15-star diamond, but we did it. And I don't care how long it took me to do it. We did it. And she built a tribe that was so rock solid that she didn't lose 15-star for 2 years after that. So something like that, where it's just like, boom, like I've been a coach for 5 years, but everything can change in the next 2 years. And who cares? Because this is my journey, and it's not a race. So that's something that sticks with me. I'm going to let everyone else share what their takeaways are before I keep gabbing, because you guys know I can gab forever. So Dana, to you.
I will let others go first, but I just want to kind of hone in on your sentiment that I think a lot of us felt super connected at Summit, and just that we really need to really come together again as a team. I feel like we've all kind of been divided forces somewhat, kind of going our own directions. And it's something that I feel like in the past, I know, especially when I was a newer coach, a lot of us really worked together, and it's really the cohesiveness that we're trying to create again, and the unity, and that sense of community that we feel at Summit, but also just as a united front moving together, not just with our separate teams, but as teams combined. And I don't think I see Laura and Kelly Spencer on here tonight, but all of us, including Kelly Riley and Alicia and all of everyone in our teams, were just all coming together to really move forward together. So anyone that wants to speak up from Summit and share like a top takeaway you had, why the experience was impactful to you, why people should come to Summit, and just something that you're doing to move yourself forward for the rest of 2018. If you want to, oh, there you are, Kelly. If you guys want to just unmute yourself and share, and then I'll share what I have to say.
Okay. I'll jump on first, just because it's kind of like stuck in my head. So for everybody that was there, this was kind of like a game changer for me, just mainly because Tom came. So I didn't know how to kind of go with that. When he said he wanted to come, I didn't know really why, because he's never really told me, like he always supported me, but he was never, if he was skeptical. And I think him being there, like Dana said, he got the bug. Since we've been home, he's always supported me and always taken on more if I wanted to sit and focus, but he's been going into his own online office to look at, volume and how things work out, and, what I need to do for this and this and this, and, just setting game plans. And seriously, if any of you have a spouse that is on the fence, and he wasn't on the fence, but if you have one that is on the fence, I think bringing them to Summit just changes everything. Because if you're serious about making this, whether it's part-time, full-time, or anything, but if you're serious about putting in any time, you need that support, and them coming and seeing it firsthand, it is a game changer, 100%. I was actually joking around with him that I wanted him to come on and say his Summit takeaway, and he said he wouldn't. He's actually sitting over there ignoring me right now. I'm surprised he's not rolling his eyes. He's laughing.
He is a man of few words.
Very few. But so that was just something that I kind of wanted to say. And I think, so, I mean, like I said before, I've been doing this a couple of years and kind of up and down. And, I hit some rough spots when, I got pregnant, then after her, and then I went through a bout of depression where I really kind of just fell back and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I really thought after Summit, I was washing my hands and walking away. I thought this was going to be my last little vacation and I wasn't even really going to care. But there are a couple of things. I mean, when I went in, I had more of an open mind because things have been turning around, but I don't remember her name, and I'm going to yell at myself for not writing it down. But there was one coach that spoke, and within a year, she went from Emerald to Superstar Diamond. So just that alone, the fact that it can happen that quickly. Emily, yes, thank you, Mary Page. I couldn't remember. I thought that was it. But just that alone is just amazing to really see that if you put in the effort and the consistency and you really focus and you want it bad enough, that it is completely possible to make that shift. And it doesn't have to take 7 years. It doesn't have to take 3 years. But it can happen quickly if you really focus and put your mind on it. And I think that was just one of the big things. And I've seen it last year. They spoke about things like that too. But I think something this year, maybe just the whole impact of, where I've been over the past year and then her saying that and having Tom with me. And it kind of just opened my eyes a little bit more. And so, yeah, that was my big takeaway. So
I'm going to jump in too, because kind of the piggyback, because some of that was similar to me, is I think I've always just been felt stuck, felt when it comes to trying to progress and get to certain rankings. And I know that in general, some of my coaches have voiced that as well. It's hard to get to diamond. We think that it's this unachievable, thing, or take years to kind of get there. And I think it's really, hearing actually so many stories of people that were diamonds last year that are now 6 and 7 star diamonds, or Emily, who, is, the superstar diamond, and she was, a diamond last year. There's so much room for growth, but I think it makes me, I've always focused on making sure that I get challengers, and I think having the challengers be the best, they're the best coaches because they love this and they've seen change and they've believed in the products. But I also have been probably in the past X amount of months been better about inviting to the coaching opportunity. But I think I really need to change my mind of always looking for challengers. I mean, every day somehow putting an invite out there, but I really need to share what coaching has done for me and what coaching has done for my team. And whether it's small things like I got to take my husband out for dinner, for our anniversary, or I got to, pay for daycare this week, or if it's big things like, I was able to, buy, go on a trip with my family. I think big and small, just because you're a new coach doesn't mean that you don't have so much to give in sharing this opportunity. And it might not always be financially, but it will be how much it's given you, and it's given you your life back, or it's given you this community, this sense of, worth and friendships. And I think going to Summit, I was beyond excited to, number one, meet one of my new coaches who I'd never met, who is awesome, Miss Maggie. And I think I was really excited, having it been my second one, to see how excited all these new coaches were, because so many people met for the first time. So it was very kind of nerving to be like, who are these people? I'm rooming with someone I don't know. But I think there's such a common bond with everyone. That's why we're here doing this. And to see how excited everyone was. And it was naturally, everyone just came together. And I think if I, tell anyone, get to events, and we always say get to events, but get to events because it makes you feel truly part of the group. It makes you feel so invested, so connected. And I think when you don't, you kind of are, you don't feel that bond. It's a passion that just ignites and sets that fire that we all have come back and we are roll. And I loved it. And I had such a great time. And I already signed up.
Kelly, I just want to add to what you were saying about the coaching thing, because I don't know if any of you guys are in the Obsessed with Coaching group with Autumn, but she interviewed Emily, the girl that Stephanie and Kelly were just mentioning, and she shared and like a little bit of her backstory. She was a kid that grew up in foster care. Like she literally had a really hard life. And then right prior to like her business taking off, she went through 4 miscarriages. She was talking about it being the hardest time in her life. She committed to 80-day obsession. She shared the journey. And she mentioned on the call, the live call that's in the Obsessed with Coaching page, that every time she goes to sign someone up as a challenger, she says to them, do you want to start this, like your journey, the way that I'm doing it, as in like giving them the opportunity to become a coach from the get-go, which I was like, duh, that's genius. Because she's like, I don't want to make that decision for people. I don't want to just assume that they want to be a challenger. So I always offer the opportunity to be a coach right up front with it. So I just wanted to add that in there because I think that's been a huge key to her success and the growth that she's seen in such a short period of time.
And the other thing is just to like really follow these people, because I met Emily at NLC and we sat one night and just talked, and I'm like, oh my God, I know you from somewhere. And we were racking our brains and I was like, oh my God, I'm posting you all over my page from your 80-day obsession results. I'm like, it's you that I keep posting. And she was so just like talking about like what she's been doing, how she's found success. She's very just like an open book. And if you follow her and all these top coaches, I mean, I think her Insta story, she was like, here we go again. And she was in like the fertility clinic again. Like she's raw and open, and it speaks to people no matter what no matter what it is, just be vulnerable, and people relate to that because no one's perfect. They don't want to see someone that's perfect all the time. So share the ups and downs and share, because that's how people like want to follow you and they want to be a part of you, because you're you. So just be you and share that. Don't harm it.
I'll go next. Are you done, Kelly? Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. I think that's a yes.
Okay. Everybody was silent, so I didn't know. I had a really different experience, which was really funny for me. The first summit I went to, it was just sort of like shock and awe. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm at the Grammys and like people are in ball gowns and freaking awesome, and I want to be them. And then this summit was really, really cool for me in a very different way, because I at one point, and I'm sure everybody on this team would feel the same because we're all sort of the same in this sense, it started looking like a little bit of a beauty pageant to me for all the top coaches up there. It was perfect blonde hair in perfect ringlets, lots of makeup, big eyelashes and all these things. And it really, to me, like started feeling like a beauty pageant. And I was like, well, I'm not one of those people. That's not me. Is that what people are wanting to follow out there? Like, if so, I'm screwed, because that's not me. My kid's having a meltdown. But then I forget her name. Bree, what was her name? The amazing black woman who got on stage. What was her name?
Artina.
Okay. Artina got on stage. This gorgeous, like badass black woman got on stage. And she said that when she came to her first summit, she looked around and nobody was like her. And her father told her, she called him and was like, Dad, this is great, but nobody looks like me. And her father told her to change that. He said, well, don't complain about it, just change it. And I looked around at our team and we're all the same, like, kind of the pseudo hippies and whatever. And I realized that I want to change what that looks like up on that stage. I want that stage to look like basically a picture of everybody who's in this company. If if I'm ever up on that stage, I'm going to be wearing, you know, my hippie outfits and whatever. Like that's me. And so when I came back, I realized that I think that, you know, I told Bree this, but my business page, it comes off a little serious, and I am not serious. I'm like the biggest dork in the world. And if you guys saw Bree and my sweet dance videos from this past weekend, you would know that I'm like the biggest dork. And I realized that, but I also like need to embrace the other sides of me. Like I'm really, really competitive. So the very first thing that I did when I got back was I posted 2 huge posts. I posted a post about how all of you guys are my boobs at the end of the night when I take off my bra, and I can take off my bra, my boobs feel free. When I went to Summit with you guys, I felt free like my boobs at the end of the night. And everyone loved it. They thought it was so funny, but I'm like, that's me. Like I'm a big boob. And then the next thing I did later in the day, I posted about my competitiveness. And I was like, I was so like seeing those challengers on stage who are winning those $100,000 prizes and whatnot. Like I want a challenger on that stage winning $100,000. Like that is the coolest thing in the entire world to me. And yes, it's a little selfish because I want to be the one that helped them get there, but that's what I want. And I had so many people reach out to me. A few people posted in the post, tons of people posted or came from like behind the scenes. And now I have these 2 women who one is trying to lose 110 pounds, one's trying to lose 160 pounds, and they are both vowing to be on that stage next year. And so what I've realized is like, I'm very open, and I feel like I'm always me on my page, but I'm not really always like the real me. And I need to like be the real me in order to change that beauty pageant up there. And when I get on stage at some point, you guys, if I'm wearing a ball gown and fake eyelashes, I 100% give you permission to punch me in the face. So, but that's what I took away from it is like, and I was stuck this month. I was really stuck, and I'd been hitting SC28 and whatever. And this month I like was barely pulling SC6 out of my butt. And then all of a sudden I realized it's because I this past month for some reason, like I wasn't the real me, and Artina just like smacked me in the face with that. And so I encourage everybody to take that away as well. Because there's the you that you want to show, but then there's the real you. And what is the real you? Because that's what people really want to see. The days when I show my house being a just disaster and my kids covered in mud, that's what people want to see. So that was my biggest takeaway is there's like the level of like, what do I think people want to see? There's the level of, okay, I'm the real me, but then there's that actual level of me. And now I already have 3 people committed to signing up on Sunday, and I didn't approach them. They just came to me because I started saying like, yeah, I'm really competitive and this is what I want to do. So that was my biggest takeaway.
I would like to talk next if anybody else, that's okay.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anyone can hear you. Okay, so kind of back to Stephanie and Tom. I've already, my husband's with me next year, and I'm so excited for him to come and experience with everybody and meet everybody and really feel like, you know, this is a business and this is something that I'm very serious about, and I'm really looking forward to having him there as well. So I encourage other people to bring their husbands too. And
Yay, guys won't be alone.
Yeah, definitely. And next year after Summit, they'll both be on here giving their takeaways. That'll be a requirement for all the husbands who come.
I'll get Noah on it too for next year, I promise.
Yeah, how cool would that be? So, and then kind of along the lines of what Kelly, you were just saying, something that shocked me. So I just signed up for Beachbody in February, and this was my first summit too. And I posted about this, but something that really shocked me and made me feel a lot better about myself, which is really true, is that you do not have to have a beach body to do beach body. You don't have to have a beach body to be a beach coach. And that just really inspires me to see people of all shapes and sizes. People that are.
Shit, I didn't realize I'm not muted.
Oh, it's okay. I took notes, so I'll just read read my notes. I felt in the beginning like if I didn't look a certain part, then how could I be a fitness coach? And I think that's a lot of people's perceptions, like, oh, I could never be a coach because I don't look that part. And that was just really important to me, to see that you do not have to have a beach body to be a beach body coach. I mean, obviously I want to be a product of the product and I'm working towards it, but people want to see the real me, and here it is. So, and then another thing that I took away, along with what Dana was saying, was that team is so important. Every single top coach that spoke, they spoke about their team and how important their team is. And I mean, obviously everybody got that because here we all are, all these different teams coming together. So togetherness, together we are better. And I really took that from it. And then one other thing that I took was say bye-bye to the negative self-doubt. The only limits that we have are the ones that we put on ourselves. So why not me? Why not you? Now is the time to be awesome. Why wait? I mean, what are you waiting for? And I've kind of already took that to heart. I'm starting a YouTube page, and I'm trying to post a lot more videos. I feel like videos is kind of like where a lot of people are going these days. And I'm just, I don't know, I just was really inspired, and I'm really stepping out of my comfort zone, and that's it.
I'll speak next if you guys. Maggie, that's kind of like, I have like the same sentiments. Just, coming back from everything, it being my first summit as well. But, my biggest takeaway, actually, I get, I'm a little competitive too. Like, I feel like, Kelly, I totally understand where you're coming from. And like, I've had these goals set in front of me for so long. I've been like trying to achieve them. And like, I'm losing sight of the real reason. And going to Summit really kind of humbled me a little bit, because it's not about me. Like, that was like that huge takeaway. Like, it's totally not about me. It's about the people who I help. Cause obviously I've had my own like major transformation, and I completely believe in the product, but it's like, I get in my head, like, oh, they're going to judge me. They don't want to believe in the product, as much as I do. Well, that's totally not true, because I'm sure that like, everyone can like see that obviously it works. And like, watching the people stand up on stage who give their testament of their story, of their transformation, watching Craig, watching Emily, there was a third coach, I forgot her name. And then of course, all the people who were up for the Beachbody Challenge, listening to their stories, like, that's like, when the day is done, that's why we're here. And that's why we need to show up every single day and be a part of their lives, period. Because those people are coming to us for the guidance and the support, and goals will always be there, like, you can hit them and they're great to have out there, but like, I have to focus more on the mindset of like, my first and foremost job is to help my challengers and to help the people who are coming to me saying, I have no idea what to do with nutrition, or I have no idea where to start when I want to lose this weight, this baby weight, or whatever it is. So I loved Summit for that fact that, I could really just kind of see the big picture. And they were really great about reminding us about that, like all the little nuggets here and there. So that was definitely my key takeaway.
Hey guys, I'm happy to go next if everybody's cool with that. Yeah. Okay. I'm at work and I'm on my phone, so I can't see everyone. So if you can't hear me or something, wave wildly.
But I went to Summit. This was my second one. And the first one, I was there with the dude and I really enjoyed like the mechanics of it. And I was like super gung ho about coaching. And I got home and I put a lot of it to work and I was growing my business much more than before Summit. So that was really fun. But if you guys don't know me too much, because I've kind of backed off a bit this year, after Summit, I actually got knocked up at Summit. We were trying, so that was awesome. But as I started to be more and more pregnant, my emotions got a little out of whack, and I've never really wanted to be pregnant. I always just assumed I would adopt, so I had a really hard time with it mentally. And then watching my body, which I'd never been healthy or fit in my life. I used to binge eat bottles of red wine and homemade frosting. So I got really healthy. And then as I started to see that slip away and seeing all the work I had done, it really affected me much more than I ever anticipated. So I kind of backed off the business. And although I did some personal development and that kind of stuff, going to Summit this year was completely different. I didn't see it as businessy as I had the first year. It was like a totally different mindset and a different set of goggles I had on. And I kind of enjoyed the people around me more. Like it was fun meeting everybody in the group because we're all different. We come from all different walks of life. And like Kelly was saying earlier, like she's into the hippie mode and like doing her own thing. And not that I'm a beach blonde, ball gown wearing chick, but like I love me some false eyelashes and I mostly wear black all the time and like that kind of stuff. But you don't see that as much on these top coaches. So it was nice to kind of like look around and see people that I could relate to. And there were tons of babies there and tons of people that now I notice, oh, that's probably a post baby body, where in the past I would have been like, oh, she carries her weight there, you know? So it was nice seeing that there were lots of people like me, lots of different varieties of people from all different like stages in their life and all different seasons of their life. And it was really nice kind of getting that positivity and that kind of stuff flowing again. And the one speaker that really reached out to me, and I can't remember anything, so I have his name saved. His name was Sean Anker. He was one of the main speakers, and he is very analytical, very fact-based, but funny as well. And coming from obviously the medical field and liking facts and that kind of less touchy-feely stuff, I really enjoyed his talks, and I'm already downloaded his book or put myself on hold from the library for my Kindle because I'm all about saving money nowadays. And he talked about how choosing to be happy and spreading happiness is just as impactful on your life as eating healthy and all that kind of stuff. So it was really eye-opening, and I needed it. I needed it a lot. And I wasn't going to go to Summit this year because I haven't been running the business very much. And financially, it just didn't make sense. This past year and a half, the dude started his own business so he could be home with the kid more. And that's been really hard. And it just didn't make sense. And I was about to cancel. And last minute, I'm like, you know what? I think I need this mentally. So just as much as this was exciting for the business aspect, it was also probably for me much more powerful to be there for myself mentally and to see everybody and to get the experience. And even just doing like the workouts, I did 3 while I was there, and being in my postpartum recovery journey or in the season of my life, I haven't been working out as much, which is also probably why I haven't been rocking the business, because if you're not doing a program and really involved in the nutrition, you're not as excited to share that with other people, right? We all know that. So seeing the other moms at the baby workout and seeing the people at PIO and then the big mass workout, it was really, really good and eye-opening and all that kind of stuff. So even if you're not 100% into the business yet, and if you're not sure if that's the way you want to go Summit next year, go into it with the mindset of just wanting to experience all the different people and see how many people are working on a health and fitness lifestyle that you may not think of that when you first see them, and knowing that that's okay. And that could be just as powerful as someone who's like totally ripped and a blonde bombshell chick. So there's many different ways to look at Summit, and I'm very glad I went. And hindsight now, going into it with that mindset, I'm just as excited now about the business part too. So that's how I feel. So hopefully you guys got a little bit something out of that. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you're newer in the group and you have questions about that stuff. So on to the next person.
I'm happy to go next if that's all right. So my biggest takeaways from Summit were, one, meeting everybody was completely incredible. Just having that team vibe and just having that community spirit was absolutely incredible, and I loved meeting every single one of you. I think we all have some similarities, and I'm sure that's a lot to do with Dana, and that we all kind of stem from that tree. And it's amazing to see how all of us can come together and be very different and still all be similar. My biggest takeaway from Summit was just I've been kind of a slow starter with respect to my business, but this really kind of gave me that extra oomph to really just take it forward and to really just go all in and not be afraid and let go of my fear. And I don't remember exactly which speaker it was, so my apologies. I have so much information going on in my brain. I'm still actually just processing everything. But just making those goals and sticking to those goals. And so many people had mentioned going back to basics. Even some of the top coaches who kind of had felt like they had kind of fallen off the wagon, were like, go back to your basics, go back to your vitals, just keep inviting, keep doing your personal development, keep being a product of the product, and just keep moving forward. And it was just one of those, every single step you take is a step in the right direction. And so now for me, it's kind of really kind of driven that home of just go back to basics and just do one step at a time. And I do this part-time, I think, like most of us do. And for me, for the first time, really just jumping in both feet, going all in. And one of my big goals for this week was starting my business page. And I'll be totally honest, it made me want to throw up when I hit okay, ready to launch. But I did it, and the response has been great. And I'm just going to keep on pushing and keep on inviting and keep on reaching out to people. And with my Instagram, with my Facebook, with my business page, and just keep growing my network and not be afraid to friend somebody just because I may not know them. You may end up having that connection that that you never thought you'd have, but you don't know until you try. And overcoming that fear and that lump in your throat and that nauseous feeling is definitely rewarding, because you'd be very surprised at the feedback that you get. And that was kind of my biggest thing. So.
All right, guys, I'll jump in. I actually just came in the bathroom to hide from my daughter. She's watching TV in the other room. So for me, this was my 4th Summit. And Summit always seems to come at a time where I think I need that push the most. And for me, this one was a lot different, because the last 3 that I've gone to, I've always been excited about this business. In the beginning, it was more of a community and like a hobby thing for me. And then I started to kind of see the potential in it, but I don't think I really saw that I had the potential to do the things that I was seeing other people do there. And I definitely felt the shift in that this year. It was cool to go with, like a baby rank advancement kind of, and to meet one of my coaches that I had never met before in real life. And it made it feel a lot more real. And it really turned that switch for me that, like, all these things that I'm seeing these other people doing, like, kind of, I know we hear it all the time, but like the why not me thing, like, I have believed in this business from the beginning. I have not believed in myself and my own ability to work this business from the beginning. And I just feel that energy now. And I was starting to feel kind of burnt out and thinking, like, this is just like a hobby thing that brings me in some extra money. I'm good at getting challengers, and I'm, good at supporting them and stuff, but that's kind of where I was limiting myself. And now it's like, why can't I be one of those coaches that's, you know, making a full-time income? Like, I absolutely can. I'm 100% capable of doing it. And it's just being honest with myself and the work that I need to put in to get there. And I just feel really reinvigorated with the whole thing. And I'm ready to work my booty off and go back next year and just really do what I need to do to make this change my life. So here we go, people. Let's do it.
Can I segue that onto Debbie? Debbie, would you be willing to share? Because Debbie is the coach that Alicia met for the first time at Summit. So perfect transition. Oh no! I can't hear you. Something funky with your microphone. No. Try logging out and come back and then share, because I think sometimes it'll pop up and say like joined by computer audio or something. See if it pops up again. But in the meantime, who else? Anyone else go? Tracy! We can't hear you either. It's not just me, right, guys? You guys can't. Can you guys hear me talking? Yes, you can hear Annalisa. Okay. Can't hear Tracy, though. What is happening? I think Debbie was on an iPad, too. Maybe it's the iPad thing? I'm not sure. Oh. Who just clicked? I feel like, didn't you hear that? It sounded like someone's mic was like coming back. Oh, Debbie, are you there? Ah. I like hear a microphone clicking, but nothing else. Oh, total bummer. Will you guys pop in the team page and just kind of share your takeaway at some point?
Or if you want, you can type it in the comments. Or you can call in on the phone.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear Tracy.
Okay, the iPad. The reason why y'all heard my dogs earlier was because I was having issues.
Tracy, just mute your iPad so we don't get
there we go.
Feedback. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so you heard the dogs earlier because I was having a difficulty with logging onto the iPad. So anyway, second, I'm getting bad feedback. But anyways, second.
If you talk, are you talking through your phone? If you talk right into it?
Yes, I am. This is the second summit for me, and almost didn't go, so I'm definitely there relating with Ashley. Last year, I basically took away, it was intimidating because to see all the success, all the
Tracy,
yes,
we can't see your face. We're asking a lot of you.
Ow.
We can see like your brown leather couch.
Okay. That's because I'm trying to do two different, I've got the iPad going and the phone going. Okay, can you see me now?
No. It's like talking to my mother-in-law. Oh, you're on a different screen.
Yes. Like I said, I've been bouncing between my phone and my
I'm up here watching like the iPad that's faced towards the couch, and meanwhile you're on like a whole new Brady Bunch square down there. Okay, carry on.
But anyway, going back to what Ashley said, it's like she almost didn't go. I almost didn't go because, there was just a lot of trauma last year with my coach and my upline diamond coach. So neither of them were there this year, and I just didn't have that motivation. I didn't have that inspiration. And I was just going to throw away the price of the summit ticket, and I was going to throw away my hotel room. But luckily I found a coworker who is also a Beachbody coach who asked if I was going, and I told her I was questioning it, and she said that she wanted to go, but she didn't have a hotel. Well, then we clicked up, we shared our hotel room together. I am so glad that I went because I got more out of this summit this year than I ever did last year. Kim Carver, I swear to God, he was talking right at me when he said, it's like you come to these events, you take notes, and then that notebook gets filled up and you put it on the shelf. Well, that's kind of what I did last year. And, it's like basically the same notebook that I brought this year was the same notebook that I had last year. But this year I have started from the front of that notebook and I've gone through it to the notes that I've taken this year. I'm putting everything into play. Bonnie Engel was my saving grace because I am clueless about Instagram. She gave me a lot of, I don't know if y'all have noticed all the daggum posts that I've been doing on Instagram since, but very educational. And she also just said, do something, what did she say? Something that makes you scared. Something that scares you, just do it. So I am jumping in both feet, starting myself a challenge group, really focusing on doing something with my flight attendants that, need to put fitness on the road, need to put food, how to pack their food on the road. So I'm going to start that on, I think it's the 7th, and it's a 7-day program. So whether I fail, but I'm going to get up again, it doesn't matter. I'm jumping in. I'm going to do this. And July, I'm aiming for making it my best month ever. So yes, Summit was very incredible for me, and it was so great to see everybody again. And I'm so glad that I went. All right.
I love that. Every time you guys are speaking, there's like a little piece that someone says, and I'm like, oh yes, I remember that, and it hit me the same way, or whatever. But so cool. I'll share. And is there anyone else that wanted to share before I share?
I can share.
Oh, you're on.
Yay! Okay, so I just have to say, I was really geeked out even to begin with because I'm at the airport and I start to see people with Beachbody stuff and I'm like, what? I feel like an alien sometimes, like the only person in my community. And so I was all excited even just to see that. It was amazing, as someone else had shared. It was amazing to be able to have my husband there. And, I asked him like point blank, I kind of put him on the spot and asked, like, what's your intent of being here? Like, are you being here to be supportive of me, or like, are you really looking to be a partner and run your business center? I mean, like, we do it in partnership, but like me not doing the heavy lifting all the time. And in the beginning, he was like, well, I'm trying to figure that out. And at the end, we're in the conference and he's like texting people and setting up phone calls. And he was just all in at the end. And so it was like a game changer for us in that respect, because I told him, I said, I feel like with my coaches, I feel like they ebb and flow, and I feel like you're one of those, and like, what's the deal? And so I was excited to see that. And then it just, a lot of the content, I think, really hit home. One of the big things for me that I want to be able to share with my coaches, and that has really impacted me the most, I think, is to see those challengers up on the stage. As Reed all says, I mean, that's a total change of perception when you see people that really go through it. And that was huge for me, to be able to see the emotion behind that, because I know I get really excited when I'm helping a challenger and they share like a victory with me, whether it's a scale victory or non-scale. But when you see it on that level, like, I have yet to see a challenger like meet their full goal. And so to see somebody meet their full goal and to see how it's really changed their life, it's like, how could I not share? And then I think that there's so much learning that I have that I can take from this group. Dana, one of the things I want to do is take the advice you gave me, and I, just as we're on this call, I'm getting text from somebody who, if I'm not careful, they're going to suck all my energy. And it's like this person a marital issue, and every time she's going to marital issue, she like messages me in the middle of the night, and I absorb all that energy, and it's like it's too much. And so like I need to learn from this group about all the amazing things that you've done to protect yourself, to keep yourself moving forward, and not to just give all into that one challenger that's like sucking you dry. And so just overall, I feel like just really thankful for the opportunity. And I'm excited even that we're all on this call together. And I just, like, I loved that. When I saw people out taking the big photos on the steps with all their shirts, I looked to Dave and I said, like, I want that for us. I want us to be able to feel like we're coming back next year and we've got a bunch of people with us. I mean, we can do that. I mean, look at all of the people on this call. That's a lot. We can do a lot with the size of a group that we have. And I want to be one of those game-changing groups when we go in and we're a force, like in a positive way, right? But I think that we have that opportunity.
So cool. So cool. Yes, I hope 2019 is huge for us. As long as we keep this momentum, I think it will be. So I will share my takeaways, and I'm going to keep them short because you guys know I blab, but I have a couple things I want to talk about. The first one being a shift in my approach to my downline and everyone in the downline, because when you get into a leadership position where you have a lot of people on your team and a lot of goals and a lot of people being really comfortable as hobby coaches and discount coaches, and you're trying to like drive this ship of your business and motivate people, and like Debbie said, like you're gonna have to figure out like who's coming with you, and who is really just like not at the same place as you. And so it begins to like tear at your emotions because you're like, we can do this, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can do it, but they're not really running with you. So the message that somebody was sharing, I don't remember who it was or what conference, it was just one of those things, but it was really truly meeting people where they're at, because the discount coaches on your team are valuable. The emerald coaches on your team are valuable. The diamond coaches on your team are valuable. The star diamonds, they're all valuable. If I only celebrated the diamonds on the team right now, Dana and Alicia, I wouldn't have a team. So everybody in this downline is so valuable, even if they've shared something with one person, even if they haven't shared with anybody, and they get Shakeology every month, and they're a loyal Shakeology customer, and they love being a part of the community. So really meeting people where they're at and being appreciative of that, and finding out from them, do they want more or are they comfortable there, and not trying to push people to drive a business if they're comfortable where they're at. So that was a huge, and I mean, we kind of like know that, but sometimes you just get so sucked up in this whirlwind of go, go, go that you need that reminder. And the second point I wanted to emphasize is this summit was all about uniquely you, believing in you and your story, and that your storefront is you, your brand is you, and it is different from everybody out there in this Beachbody world. It's what sets you apart, it's what will make you successful, and all of those top coaches are up there because they're sharing their story, not because they're sharing Beachbody products. They're sharing why it works for them and helping other people fight through those battles and those challenges. So be sure that you every day target in on your avatar, your target market, the person who you want to speak to. And then lastly, a point that hit home was the topic of selfless ambition by Michelle Myers, and she left 4 solid points, and I'm just going to share them as she said them. So selfless ambition is the breakthrough in our business. The first question we ask ourselves is, how can we serve today? Whether that's our team, our challengers, our family, whatever. How can we serve today? Selfless ambition respects that our business moves at the speed of trust. Like I get goosebumps just like reading through that again. Our business moves at the speed of trust. Selfless ambition realizes our offline lives make us relevant online. Our offline lives make us relevant online. Selfless ambition, if does not let others' thoughts influence yours or what you're doing. And selfless ambition means we will stop looking at this business as our opportunity and instead our responsibility. And that was a huge point that everyone sort of took through, and it was like this thread that started weaving through everyone else's responses in their workshops. But it's not an opportunity for people, it's our responsibility to take what has changed our lives in so many ways and breadcrumb that and share that forward. So start treating it like your responsibility, and I think we'll see a successful business. So those were my main takeaways. I could talk all night about something from every single workshop I went to, but I will not. I'll pass it on to Dana to, I think, close us out, unless we missed anybody who wants to speak up.
I just loved that speech as well, but I think that before I share what I want to share, I want to just say that I think it's fascinating that all of us went to the exact same experience, and all of us had a very different experience with a very different focus, because I feel like one of the most powerful things about live events and hearing speakers and hearing stories and all of those things is you're going to kind of internalize whatever is relevant for you, like whatever you're going through, whatever you're thinking about, like whatever you're envisioning for yourself, whatever you're needing to find is what you're going to find and what you're going to kind of focus on. And there are things that resonate with everybody. But like Annalisa said, there is that like one thing that might stick out to you and be a game changer for you, or that one thing that literally gives you chills or makes you want to cry. And just since Summit is a year away now, I just want to encourage all of you to try and get to a Super Saturday in your local area for this whole year, because that connectedness that you feel at events, it's not the same at Super Saturday as it is at Summit, but it's a starting place for you to feel more connected, and just really encouraging the participation of getting on these team calls. I think this is the most coaches we've had on team calls in a really long time, and it's just so awesome to see. But remembering that together we can go places that we cannot go alone, because the support and the community is so much of what we all love about this. But remembering that in our businesses that we all, hit roadblocks, have struggles, have successes, and we can all learn and grow from each other. So there's a few things that really stood out to me that I want to share, and something kind of personal that is not easy for me to talk about. I just texted Annalisa like, I don't know if I really want to talk about this. But I feel like it's important, because one of the things that I've always strived to do as I grew a team was to share things that you may run into or that you may struggle with, so that hopefully as you grow your teams and as we branch out and help more people, that if you find yourself running into certain things, that you maybe feel a little bit more equipped to go through them. So as some of you might know, we were a 2-time elite team. And at the end of last year, there was just a lot of personal life circumstances that were totally out of everyone's control. That was very hard for our whole team to go through and watch happen. And for me personally, a lot of the leaders being very close friends of mine, I found myself really struggling to wrap my head around the fact that I couldn't help people the way that I wanted to. And so I just have to say that going into Summit, I really needed this more for myself than I needed it just in terms of looking to grow as a leader. Because stuff like that will shake you in this business. And what you said, Debbie, about the protecting your energy, that was something that was talked about in a seminar that really stood out to me, because you guys know me and I will always be there to listen and to help in any way that I can. But one of the women spoke about not being a therapist for people, that we as coaches are meant to help people and guide people and give them the tools and the resources and the community and the support to be successful. But at the end of the day, we ultimately don't have control over how things pan out, right? And that's tough sometimes as a coach, and it's tough sometimes as a mentor, but it was really profound to me, because I think it's important to remember that for us to really live our best lives, our happiest lives, our most fulfilled lives, our most kind of aligned lives, if you will, but also to have the energy to pour into our coaches and our customers and our families, and all the things that are important to us, that we have to kind of protect our energy, and be aware of what we're using that for, right? And I hope that doesn't sound negative, but more so in a way of really knowing intentionally, in a heart-spaced way, where you're putting your time and your energy, and also knowing when sometimes you have to kind of let go and let things run their course. So for me, coming into Summit, I personally was just really looking forward to seeing our team, connecting with our team, but I also have to be honest that I was feeling pretty sad about some of the coaches that were unable to come this year. And I also had a really huge realization during Summit, with this whole thing that I just shared, that when we focus on lack, or we focus on failure, or we focus on struggle, that sometimes it blocks our true ability to feel gratitude and the abundance that is right in front of us, and the opportunity that we have, and the gift that we're living and that we're giving. And that sometimes we have to remind ourselves why we started this, and why you're here, and what has already been done, and how much you've already achieved, and how friggin' capable you are, even when you have setbacks and failures, right? So with that said, one of the speeches that was most profound for me personally was, we had a leadership session, and Christina Delgado was a speaker, which I am one of her biggest fans. I just love how real she is. But she talked about the theme of rebuilding versus renovating. And I think that it's a theme that no matter where you are at in your business, whether you are a new coach, or whether you are someone that has kind of been inactive for a while and you're coming back, or whether you feel like maybe you've never actually pushed to what you're potentially capable of and want to, right? That the concept and the term, and I'm going to read this from like the slides, is that rebuilding has a reactive negative connotation, meaning to build something again after it has been damaged or destroyed. Whereas renovation is a proactive positive statement, meaning to restore life, vigor, or activity. And for me personally, I think that part of why I want to really move together as a cohesive front and cohesive teams, and really lean together and lean in, is to really restore that life and that vigor and that energy that I know we are capable of when we are working together as a united unit, because I've seen it, I've felt it. And if I can tell you one thing that felt different at the end of last year versus the 2 years prior, was the energy and the vigor and the unitedness, as one solid unit, and all of us with our blinders on, focused, hungry, sharing with our hearts, pouring into ourselves, pouring into our businesses, but also working cohesively as a team, because we can go so much farther when we're working together. So I think that it's something that's good to sit down and think about. What you can renovate in your business right now. For me, that is something that I'm working on over the next few weeks, because I think it takes some personal reflection. I think it takes some kind of intention of knowing where you want to go, how you want that to feel, what you want your team and your business to look like moving forward, how that's going to impact your life. But sitting down, and she kind of compared a renovation to the home that they've been working on building. And talked about identifying the rooms, meaning like the things in your business that need renovating first. Like, so what are the most important things that you know you need to work on or renovate? Like, is it your mindset? Is it your invites? Is it your social media? We all have different things that should be of the highest priority to kind of revamp, to start moving ourselves forward, right? And then what are strategies that you can implement right away? Adjust your expectations, because we all know that sometimes too high of expectations lead to feeling let down and just kind of killing our own thunder. And then set attainable goals. And I think someone who spoke, I think it was you, Mary Page, talked about you can lose your joy. And I think that that's something that everyone needs to be very aware of. And I was actually having this chat with Lauren via text earlier today, is that I feel like it is so, so, so important as we move forward to keep your blinders on and know why you're doing this, know what your 100% looks like, and please do not compare to people around you. I fell into that trap myself the last 6 months with watching coaches that I was, very tight knit with the past few years, and letting that negative self-talk creep back in. I cannot say that I'm above it or that I have fully outgrown that. I think we all find ourselves in spaces sometimes where you fall into that comparison trap. And that's why I'm saying, moving forward, I think that it's so important to know why you're doing what you're doing and what you actually want to see happen for you. And realistically, the amount of time that you're willing to put in, does that align with the end goal that you're attempting to achieve? Because that's going to look very different for everyone. Maybe your goal is just to pay for your Shakeology. Maybe your goal is to earn $500 a month. Maybe your goal is to be a top 10, 15-star diamond. I don't know. There's ranges of everything on this team, but in attempts to kind of protect all of us from losing joy, take some time to get clear on why it is you're here and what you want to see happen, and the work that you're willing to do to get there, right? And if you're not sure, ask for help. We're happy to kind of guide that. And then the next thing she talked about, and I think this is huge, is that your mindset is the center of your life and your business, and progress in other areas can only be made with the right frame of mind, positive forward moving, and growth oriented thinking. Keep the negativity in the bathroom, because that's the smallest room in the house. And she said something that I highlighted, because I think that in terms of keeping your joy and staying motivated and all of those things, and just in terms of sticking to the basics that really are the foundation of our business and of our growth. She said mundane activities only feel mundane when your mindset is off. And how true is that, right? If you're struggling with your mindset or your belief, or you're not really looking at the bigger picture, or you're not connected to why you're coaching, like the basic things feel really mundane, right? But with the right mindset and clarity and intention and vision and why, none of it feels mundane. It feels joyful. It feels exciting. You feel passionate. You feel inspired, right? So she said, removing yourself from that mindset when you get stuck there is on you. She said, don't just get back to basics. You're not basic. Invest in personal development, personal growth, and personal coaching, meaning like she was talking about it in a sense of like getting to seminars, but leaning into one-on-one mentorship, leaning into team calls, leaning into the community, like we keep saying, is so important. Make sure you're always elevating your game. And if there's certain things that you feel are a waste of your time, to try and delegate activities. So I don't know why we're viewing this right now. Maggie, we're stuck on your screen. So delegating activities, and I just want to kind of throw this out there as a side note. I remember when Liz talked to some of us about delegating things in our business, and I was like, Annalisa as well. I know she was trying to harp on me for like getting part-time childcare, like from really early on. I'm so against it. But thinking about little things, like even house chores or like little things during I know for me, I tend to be someone that's always said yes to everything, and here's like a silly example, but when there's like garage sales and stuff at my kid's school, like if it's not directly affecting my son where I need to show up for him, a lot of times I have learned to say no because it doesn't serve my life or my energy or moving forward in my business. So learning how to say no to things that don't align with your greater vision or don't align with the things you want to have as your priorities in life to move yourself forward in your business, right? Because it does take time and it does take energy and sacrifice. But delegating little things that will make it easier for you to stay on track, or even not necessarily delegating, but planning ahead, right? Having those systems for when you sit down and work your business, so you don't sit down and look at your notifications and start scrolling. You're like, okay, here's my to-do list. That's what I have to get done. Here's my power hour tracker so I can check those things off. Like creating systems, even if you're not delegating, like creating things that help you stay on track with what you need to do. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to actually read from my notes rather than the things now, but she talks about slow and steady progression, picking apart each piece that needs to be renovated. The process is hard, but the view and the result is worth it. Fulfilling, perfect, and worth what you have to go through. Your business is your home and your vision is your view. Thinking of a legacy, waking up knowing that you're here to make a difference, and that when we're in a business of entrepreneurship, we always have to renovate, not just what we're doing, but ourselves in terms of growth, right? Let me see what else I missed. Oh, and she said something that that I just really loved in terms of where our energy goes. But she said, if it doesn't serve me, my team, my family, my network, my business, my mindset, IDGAF, as in I don't give an F. Elevate your skills, communication, social media, delegation, PD. And I think that's kind of it from her thing, but I loved all of that. Yeah, Annalisa. So I just have to say, for me personally, with all that said, I like anybody else could talk about 700 things, but I was very humbled going in this year, being in an entirely different space than we've been in the past 2 years. And I've analyzed a lot of why personally that had nothing to do with any external forces except what my personal why was. And as a lot of you know, and I just want to share this because your why will change as your life changes. But the biggest why for me for a really long time, a driver, was winning full custody of my son, which required me to be emotionally and mentally as strong as possible. And it also required me to be financially in a place where I could prove that I deserved to win that. And that's a very scary thing to go through. But it was that one thing that in my mind that no matter what, when I was tired, when I didn't feel like working, when I was struggling, when I had a failure, when someone quit, whatever, that I could go to that place in my mind and remind myself what I was showing up for, right? So for me personally, there's been a drastic shift, and I feel like that has kind of shifted into my mindset, like I said, with the exception of, business goals aside, is that I came back to the fact that in a way I got comfortable. And so I want to encourage you to think about always staying a little bit outside your comfort zone. Now that might mean something different for everybody, but always staying a little bit ahead of that place where you feel comfortable and you get kind of, in a, kind of going through the motions or just feeling like you're kind of losing that joy and that energy, but always attempting to challenge yourself a little bit beyond what you feel like you would do. And if you need accountability to that, let your success partner know, let your coach know, say like, I feel really comfy in this spot I'm in right now, and I know it's not serving me, because here's my perspective. is that when we get comfortable, we can lose motivation, or we can lose our self-belief, right? Because I know for me, my greatest growth and confidence comes when I feel challenged and I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and I'm doing shit that scares me, and I'm reaching out to people that I was wanting on my dream team but terrified to invite, or I'm posting something on social media that I feel like would connect to somebody but it's a little uncomfortable for me to talk about, or I'm digging into some personal growth that really hits home for me. I just personally know that's been the biggest difference for me in the last many months, in comparison to kind of that growth scale that I was on in prior years, which was kind of a direct reflection of what happened externally. I hope that you were able to follow that. I know I got a little deep, but case in point being, please make sure that you are challenging yourself, that you are aligned and knowing what you're going for. And if you're really willing, being willing and having alignment with your intentions, matching your actions, giving yourself grace, because I can tell you that grace has been one of my favorite words for about 2 years now. Of we are imperfect, we are human, we struggle, we deal with hard shit in life, we go through hard things that are totally out of our control, and you just have to remember that those times will pass, and you have to surrender and give yourself some grace that you will grow through it, right? And just stay on that path for growth with yourself and with your business, and just us all growing together as a team. So I think that's it. Don't everybody. Yeah.
Yay! I'm gonna wake up Ben if I do that, so I simmer it down a little bit.
And I just have to add to this now, because I know that was a little bit of tough love and also depth, but I am more excited about moving forward than I probably ever have been before, because I feel like lots of weights have been lifted, and I feel like that's the beautiful thing about growth, is that it feels hard and it feels like a struggle and it sucks during, but when you come out on the other side, you feel like you have this clarity and this drive and this energy and this motivation to just like rally through and take your life to the next level. And that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm excited to move forward with our team this year and just do epic shit. We're capable of epic things, you guys. All of us on our own, but all of us together as a team. So I hope you guys are excited as we are about it. But just so you know, again, we're going to be combining forces for team calls every Wednesday night. So
here we go. You're either coming or you're not, right? We're going to do it together.
What she's saying, you are a badass. It's a freight train full of fuck yeah.
Yes. So excited. All right. I'm ready. Starts now. Starts the end of June. Get your first challengers. Qualify for this leadership meet. Oh my God. I don't know what just happened.
That is what I had marked down and totally forgot. Annalisa, do you want to share?
The leadership retreat? I feel like people are going to kill us if we keep talking, Dana. But everyone's like, yes. Qualifications are posted, guys. So all you have to know right now, help one person in June. Make sure you're on the board Success Club 2 to qualify for the Orlando retreat this October. It's going to come flying fast. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you can't get there right now. Things change in October, and you don't want to be sitting there going, man, I wish I helped one person in June so I could be there right now. So go for it, push for it. We'll figure out all the details later. One person this month, and then we'll work on July. Sound good? It's easy enough, right?
Katie said she wants to hear. I'm going to recap super fast.
Go.
You need to help at least one person in June. You need to hit Success Club in July, and you need to be a diamond coach by July 26th, whether that is regaining diamond or becoming an active diamond. And
if you guys want to do a diamond push group, that is on you guys to generate, lead, go for it. We're going to be there to help you do the actions and keep you guys accountable to doing this. We're not just saying like good luck to you, but yeah, take action and lead the crap out of that stuff. Go for it.
Well,
success partners.
I have to add, we have talked about going live in the team page with things that will be helpful, because that's just on my plan anyways to do more of. But yes, if you're in it, unite in the team page and definitely start a thread of rallying together. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Because we're just coming off summit. We'll boost our energy again in October. You have the new leader conference in January if you guys qualify. Keep the momentum going. I'm excited. I can't wait to go. Yee!
Caught the summit fire, don't lose the summit fire, right?
Exactly. All
All
right.
right, ladies, thank you everybody who's still on that shared. Very appreciative, and we'll see everybody next week.
Next week. Whoop, whoop. Bye, guys. Good night.